Welcome to the AEC 2025. We are at APO Ranch just north of Kempsey for the Yamaha Australian Enduro Championship supported by MXstore. We have 17 big classes here, over 300 entries riding across 3 separate tracks this weekend, and a new platform of how you view your favourite racing. There is more action-packed racing, chance to follow more of the stories and your favourite riders throughout this series. Of course, we have the E1, E2, E3, EJ, the junior riders, and the EW, and a host of sportsman classes as well. But the big interesting news for this year is the incorporation of the Pro Enduro category, where we put the top 3, E1, E2, 3, all combined for the championship at the end of the year. Bikes are out on track, so why don't we get underway? In the E1 class, the day started out strong with our heavy hitters Cooper Shido and Jonty Reinders, with Shido landing the first blows in the first test with a 4-second lead. But Reinders was not going to have any of this, riding through a lot of pain from an injured foot surgery only 2 weeks ago, would find himself back into the lead by the halfway point. Shido maintained the flow and kept pushing as hard as he could, but ultimately he was going to pull up just a little short on Reinders, who was so strong throughout the day.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago I didn't think I'd be here. I was laying in a hospital bed and had surgery on my foot, so yeah, 2 plates and 11 screws in there. So the goal coming here was just to get through round 1. So to come out with a top 5 outright and a first in the class with the new DM31 KTM racing team, I couldn't be more stoked. So big shout out to KTM Australia, all the sponsors that get us here, so thanks.
And Jet Yarnold making the leap up into the E1 class from the EJ class last year, grabs himself an impressive 3rd place to start the season. Our big names did not disappoint in E2, with the return of Ruprecht leading the way after the first one, but he was in close company with Wilch and Milner, only 5 seconds separating these 3 riders after the first test. Unfortunately though, Wilch had some problems over the next couple of tests where he found himself on the ground and unfortunately dropping some valuable seconds in those races. Milner would continue to push his way through and keep Ruprecht honest all the way, clawing back some time in the 4th test, closing it down to just 7.8 seconds of a lead. It all came down to the very final test. Ruprecht and Milner pushing themselves to the absolute limit. Only 0.6 of a second separated these 2 riders. Wil Ruprecht would maintain the lead and pick up his first win on his return to Australian racing.
Returned to a familiar team, so that was the best part about my return here to Australia. Started off really strong, you know, I walked twice yesterday and we got a sight lap this morning, so I was really dialed in. Really hitting with my marks, especially the first 2 tests, so I was really happy with that. During the day, the track really cut up and got really square edge on corner exits, so we had to adapt and, you know, mould the bike around what the track wanted, and I think we achieved that well.
Will Dennett had a great battle all day long with Wilch and would end up finding himself in 3rd place at the close of the day. Corey McMahon, new to the KTM brand, came out firing in the first 2 tests convincingly over the rest of the field, but a fight back from Jai Dixon in the 3rd test saw him close down that gap to 7 seconds. But it was the strength and determination of McMahon, who was also dealing with an injury, who fought back in the next 2, stretching that lead out to 17 seconds and picking up his first win of 2025.
Yeah, today was really good. I just stayed consistent all day, which is what I came to do in the first round. Obviously, you can win it and you can lose it in the first round. And so we got through today. It was a bit of a challenging track, a bit sketchy and technical in spots. And yeah, it's definitely thrown a couple of spanners in the work of today's track. I struggled a bit more than I would have liked, but yeah, on to tomorrow, and yeah, we're happy with the result from today.
Jai Dixon continued to push his way through the rest of the day and found himself on the second step, just in front of Riley McGilray, who completes our top three. A dominant performance by Jessica Gardner throughout the entire day, only dropping one of the 5 tests to Maddie Simpson as she went on to pick up the victory.
It was tough. It's really hot here today, so it's 30 odd degrees, and I didn't help myself. I come down with the flu this week, unfortunately, and yeah, worst timing, so I struggled a lot with energy out there. But yeah, I've had a good day. I won nearly every test except one. I think I let Maddie sneak in there, so yeah, it was overall a really good day for me.
Maddie Simpson showing some true form here this weekend, and a very big contender in this championship as she stole away one of those test races and will only improve from here. And a great battle between Ebony Nielsen and Emily Carlson throughout the remainder of the stages, but it would be Nielsen that got third on the day. EJ class, Kogan Locke was never challenged through today. After 3 tests, he commanded a 15-second lead, which pushed out to 26 by the end of the day. A fantastic performance by this young rider.
To be honest, winning wasn't really in my sights today. I just wanted to get used to the bike and everything, so I'm super stoked I was able to, pull that through.
In Pro Enduro, when we combine all the times, we see that E2 dominates the way. Wil Ruprecht, Daniel Milner, William Dennett and Andrew Wilkes, with the first of our 250 riders, E1 class, Jonty Reinders in 5th. The riders battled it out all day long on the new circuit. Although longer in length, it was a quicker lap time, and the riders enjoyed a very big motocross style section throughout the middle of the course. Jonty Reinders picked up where he left off in round number 1, coming out super strong in the second round of the series. A small tip over early on in the day, though, would slow him down. Still mindful of that leg injury, he kept it well within his control throughout the rest of the day and would find himself on the top step at the end.
The track is pretty brutal, but we come here to just get through this weekend after the recent injury. So yeah, I had a bit of a bingle early on this morning, but yeah, we was able to regroup after that and come home with the E1 class win again, which was really good. Yeah, now I can go home and recover and try to come back a bit stronger for the next rounds in a few weeks. But yeah, massive shout out to the DM31 KTM racing team for all their support.
After an extremely impressive performance in round number 1, Cooper Shido came out again in round number 2 looking very strong and put himself into a comfortable position in 2nd place. Higlet continued his impressive speed, throwing down his fastest lap of the day on the very final test, managing to hold down 3rd. After 2 rounds of racing in the E2 class, we can conclude that this championship is well and truly alive. The battle between Ruprecht and Milner fired out in the first test, with Ruprecht leading the way, 1.6 seconds over Milner. The final test would decide the winner on the day, and Milner did come out on top as he put in a stellar performance with a 3.1 second lead at the end of the final test.
Yeah, today went really well for me. Started just a little bit steady, to be honest, just trying not to make mistakes and just getting through it pretty much. And then it was very tight between myself and Wil, especially going into the last test. I think it was 0.3 of a second into the last test. So yeah, knew that I kind of had to step it up a little bit in that last test to try to do as well as I could and, let the result kind of happen at the end of it. And we did. I just tried to ride smooth again and be consistent, and we were. And ended up coming out 3 seconds up after that test and got the day win. So absolutely stoked to have done so. Absolutely stoked to have Wil back, to be honest. Lift the speed up, it's going to lift us Aussie guys up. Me coming home last year kind of did that a bit, and now having myself and Wil being able to battle, it's only going to help everyone else.
A great battle developed between Andy Wilkes and Will Dennett for the final step on the podium. Each of these riders swapped positions over the test, but Will that came away with that third place in the final test. Corey McMahon was unmatched today and looking very comfortable piloting his KTM 500 around the new layout. Notably, securing the fourth fastest time out of the entire field in the fourth and final test.
Oh yeah, today was really good for me. I think it's been a good learning curve on what my knee can hold after the ACL injury I had 2 weeks ago. So I learnt a lot over the weekend and we've pushed through to get where we need to be, and now we've got some valuable time to recover and get better for next round. And yeah, really happy with where we're at. Obviously, coming into it, it's not ideal being injured, but I think we're in a good spot, and yeah, really looking forward to the next round.
Jai Dixon once again came in second place. A very quiet day, however, he really started to find his pace at the end of the day. The battle for third would go down to the final test between Josh Whitehead and Riley McGilvray with only 2.2 seconds the gap. But misfortune struck Whitehead on the final test, going down, handing that third place to Riley McGilvray. We knew it wouldn't be long until we saw Maddie Simpson battling it out for a win, but to do it in round number 2 is exceptional work today. She would go on to win the day, picking up her very first victory in the senior category.
Yeah, it was a good day today. The track suited me really well, actually. Had a few crashes, which wasn't ideal, but yeah, got the win, got a decent lead at one point, and yeah, I was pretty comfortable. Was able to make a few mistakes and still keep the lead. So yeah, led from the start of the day, and yeah, rode pretty decent. Definitely some things I need to work on for next round, but yeah, pretty happy.
Jessica Gardner with another solid performance today, but not quite enough pace to run with Maddie Simpson up the front. Secures herself in second place, and again, valuable points in this championship. Oliver Paterno landing on the top step, finding his fastest laps in the final 2 tests of the day.
Started off a bit rough on Saturday, and today turned myself around, and yeah, went a lot better. Started off with a strong lap today, and yeah, managed to get the win today.
Kogan Locke was able to steal 1 test away from Oliver early on in the day, but just didn't have quite the pace he needed to run up the front, picking up second place on the day. Will McInnes once again would come home in third place with some very impressive times in the final 2 tests. Pro Enduro again was dominated by the E2 category. However, we still see some very fast, smaller bikes getting up there in the top 6. Milner and Ruprecht will walk away from this weekend tied in the championship for Pro Enduro. Wilkes not too far back from there, and then William Dennett on today's performance will be there in 4th place. Corey McMahon had a better day today, finding himself in 5th place with the combined times. Now, let's celebrate with the winners. Well, what a weekend of racing. We are done and literally dusted. There's been a massive amount of testing conditions for the riders this weekend, and the competition that we're seeing already is absolutely intense. With the return of Ruprecht and Milner going at it, and many other riders nipping at the bits to try and get to the top step, this championship is building up to be an exceptional one in 2025. We next head to Rawson in Victoria for rounds 3 and 4 on April 5 and 6. Make sure you head across to the website ausenduro.com.au for all the updates and news about this upcoming event. And while you're at it, head across to the socials and make sure you follow us for all the latest updates. From myself, Danny Ham, here in Kempsey, goodbye, and we'll see you at the next one.